Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the next edition of STATURDAY Chat Live. I'm in a mood today, just forewarning you. I'm pretty energetic today. I'll get into more about that later. So, February 25th, 2023, I hope you are all doing okay. Thank you so much for stopping by the live stream. If you are new to the stream, this is kind of how it works. So, I'll do some introductions, kind of give you some updates on the channel, what's going on, what's not going on, what to expect. And then we'll hop into the comments and I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have. I can't always answer those questions in real time necessarily, but if you contact me on LinkedIn or my website, which I'll show you, I can try to get back to you when I have the time. I don't always have the time, unfortunately, but I do the best I can to respond to whatever comments or questions I can answer quickly. So let me hop over here, get the comments up. Go ahead if you want, my brain going faster than my mouth. Go ahead if you have any comments or questions. You can start dropping those in the chat. I'll go back up and get to those here in a bit. But you can go ahead and put them in there. Yeah, as always, let me know where you're watching from. I like to know where everyone is watching from. So I'm probably saying your name wrong. Do you pronounce this Houston or Houston? I've obviously heard both ways, but hello from Charlotte. Hello, I've been to Charlotte in a while. Went to a NASCAR race in Charlotte years ago, but I haven't been back. I've been to the airport. Not the greatest airport, unfortunately, but it's a cool city. Hello from Baku. Hello, hello. Arif, thank you for stopping by the live stream. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Excellent. So, what is going on the channel? What can you expect? And we'll get into all that other stuff as we go. One thing to note is that I'm on some medication that's making my mouth really dry. So if you see me drinking water a lot, that's why. Just a side effect of some medications, and this is one of them. All right, so what is going on the channel and what's coming up? Now, if you have noticed, for the past few months, I've been working on some content regarding time series. So time series concepts, forecast accuracy measures and things like that. So that work continues. I'm working on the next video as we speak. Actually, when I leave here, when I leave my home after this live stream, I'm going to go up to the coffee shop and do some work. And while I'm on that topic, I want to give a shout out to all the amazing baristas up at my local coffee shop that take care of me. So that's where I do a lot of my work. So I want to thank Alex. I want to thank Brandy and Elliot, and Eli, and Jory, and Michaela, Allie, and there are some I don't know everyone's names at the coffee shop, but I want to thank, they don't watch these things at all, but I do want to thank them for giving me a place to work so I can make content for all of you all. It's a great place for me to sit and just get a few hours of work done, and it's great to go to a place where everyone there knows your name, like Cheers, like the old show Cheers, the song. So I want to thank them for giving me a good place to do some work. I really appreciate their hospitality up at the local coffee shop. So shout out to all those amazing people there. All right, what else do we got here? So like I said, I've been making content on time series analysis. That work continues. So I'm going to work on the next video. It has to do with moving averages, and we'll keep those videos going, as time allows. I'm also, if you haven't noticed, if you're a subscriber, which you should be, I've been releasing some shorts, YouTube shorts, related to some quick tips and concepts in RStudio. So I'm going to see how those do. I'll continue to do them as I have the time. Of course, they're very short, but it's a way to get some different kind of content in a different format, and to see where that goes. So we'll see if that is popular, if people like that. That's not going to substitute my original content, but it's just something else I can do quickly while I'm sitting here at the computer and can do some R tips and tricks. So until recently, I was never really a programmer, I don't think, but I always knew the time would come when I really, really wanted to dive deep and learn R in RStudio, and that is this time. So I spend almost every non-working hour, so I work from 9 to 5, but evenings and weekends and stuff, I'm not making YouTube videos, really getting into the throes of learning R. So that work continues. I'm really interested in it right now. I found some good resources that really kind of resonate with me. So I hope to have some more content related to that. And in the time series videos, if you haven't been at previous live streams, what I've been doing for the past almost year, I've been collecting my own personal data about the energy usage in my own home. And of course, I've kept track of the weather, precipitation, and everything else that kind of goes, with energy usage. And that data project will end at the end of February because I started March 1st of last year. So I've been going through every month and collecting that data. And then I'll use that data to be the basis for some more videos going forward in time series and R and stuff like that. So that's gonna be pretty cool and fun. Swig of water. So that will be, the basis for numerous videos going into the spring and summer, where we'll use an actual real data set that was actually scraped basically from the web, and we'll see what it tells us. There's some really interesting things in there just from looking at it, just doing quick analyses that are worth talking about and learning from. It's like a kind of a real world project sort of thing. So more videos on just basic, time series concepts. The next topic will be moving averages. Some YouTube shorts, I'll release those as I have time. I can do those pretty quickly and queue them up. And then the larger project that's related to the data I've been collecting about my own home's energy usage, related to weather, precipitation, when I've been home, when I've not been home, the days I do laundry, the days I don't do laundry, stuff like that. That will be another basis for content going forward. So we are in full gear, high gear mode. And we'll just see how it goes. All right, let me hop in the chat here. Good, so it is Houston. I'm glad I'm pronouncing it Houston. That was my first stab, and I'm glad I got that right. So yes, the Oilers and the Texans. Excellent. Roman, hello from Ukraine. Of course, as I always say, my heart and fortitude is with everyone in Ukraine on the 1-year anniversary of that illegal invasion of your country. And I hope that you are all holding fast and strong and keep taking care of each other. And hopefully this awful mess ends soon. So Roman, I'm, as always, as I've said in previous streams, I'm with you, my friend. So I hope you are okay and your loved ones are okay. All right, what else we got here? Hello from India. Hello, Bhavana. Thank you for coming by the live stream. Excellent. And Lewis from Columbus, just up the road, up I-71 from where I am, about an hour and a half. That's not too far from where I'm at down here in Cincinnati. So it's excellent to have some more Ohio people in the stream. So yeah, please keep putting where you're watching from in the stream, any comments, questions, or thoughts you have into the comments section. I'll get to those here in a second, but just a few house cleaning chores. So if you are kind of new to things here, just to keep in mind that obviously this is the channel where all the magic happens. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I don't do it for the glory or the money or anything like that. I do this to help people. That's why I do it, and that is it. So if you subscribe, I won't bother you with crap. I will just make content, and you can watch it when you want to. So, please subscribe. If you haven't already, if you happen to come by the stream without being a subscriber. So that is that. All the content is organized into playlists. So here are the popular videos in the playlist. You can see all those here. So if you're looking for a specific topic, it should be right there on the home page for you, so you know what you're looking for. I do have a website here you can follow, which I'll show you in a second. LinkedIn is the best place to connect with me. So I think my LinkedIn profile is set to follow as default. Excuse me, but you can click the more or whatever it is, I think, and you can send me a connection and I will accept that connection. But of course, being on YouTube and stuff like that, it's usually best to set it to follow and then just connect with people as they want to and see fit. So my LinkedIn link is there, of course, and I'm on LinkedIn. You can just find me there. There's also a little PayPal button here. Those are just like a PayPal tip jar. So if you have a few extra US dollar equivalents lying around and you want to, $5 tip here or there, that gets me a couple cups of coffee up at the coffee shop where I sit and do work to make content for you. So I don't ask for a whole lot, but if you have a few dollars here or there, it helps keep me going. You can find that there. All right, so on my website, which is here, just bcfoltz.com, you will find a big picture of my weird looking face. But if you go to Statistics 101, you'll see all the stats playlists here with full descriptions about what's in the playlist, how many videos are in that playlist, and how long it would take to watch that entire playlist. So if you're trying to budget your time to study a certain topic or whatever, you can go here, it'll have all that metadata information, and then you can click on the view playlist. And then I recommend, somewhat selfishly, but obviously it's better, when you go to the playlist, you can add the playlist to your list of playlists. That's a lot of lists, okay? But you can do that and it'll always be there and it'll keep track of where you're watching. So there are many YouTubers that I follow and I watch their content that they have curated playlists around a certain topic. So I go to that playlist on their channel, I add it, the whole playlist, to my playlists, and then I can go back and it keeps track of where I've watched. I can see the progress bar and I can just kind of keep watching from there. So here on my website, you can find that information for those videos. I got to add the time series stuff. I haven't done that to the website yet because it's relatively new, but I will. There's only 2 playlists and time series for right now, but I will add those. Okay. I have the PDF companion guides if you do not know. So many people asked, hey, can I have your slides? Well, the answer is no. I don't give away, all the work that I do any more than anyone else who does a lot of hard work would. But the videos are free. But these PDF companion guides are very in-depth guides that go with 4 of my most popular playlists. So here's the regression PDF guide. It has the slide in here. It has the transcript. It has the video link, and it has the timestamp that is at this particular slide image. So it's all in here. So if you buy these, that helps support the channel, of course, keeps the channel going, allows me to make more content, and it gets you something in return. So, these are all here for these popular playlists. So descriptive stats, ANOVA, simple linear regression, and multiple regression. So those are there. Appreciate it. If you're looking for a data set or something that I use in a video, there's a downloads page right here. You can find all the files there. You can just click on them and it'll download it and you can follow along with the video. I will be adding some more to this page because I'm using different data sets for the time series videos. And also once I get into the R stuff, I will also post like the R project files and stuff like that here as well. And I'm also going to set up, I have a GitHub, but I've never really used it. So I'm gonna start using the GitHub for a lot of the R stuff. So stay tuned for that kind of stuff, all right? The contact me page. So if you have a question before a live stream, you can go to this live stream question form, fill it out, and then that'll go to my email, and then I can look at it ahead of time. And if you show up to the stream, I can do my best to answer that question for you. So the website is it's nothing fancy, but it's useful, where you can find information, you can find PDFs, you can find data files, and contact me, okay? So you can always find that there. All right. I have this still in my browser from last time, but I want to point out something I highly recommend if you're interested in time series forecasting. So this is Principles in Forecasting, Principles in Practice, also known as FPP. This is the 3rd edition. This is a free book on O-texts. I'll paste it in the chat. There we go. My chats were behind. So there we go. So here we have this book. It has all the R code and everything in it. So if you follow along, there we go. All right. So it has the R code. You can follow along with it. You can download the R stuff. I've gone through all of the R code in this book twice, and I'm going to go through it again here soon. So this is a handy, wonderful book on time series forecasting in R. I highly recommend. And the link is there in the chat. but you can also search for it as well, just FPP3. There's also an R package called FPP3. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. You can download that goes along with it. So if you go into R, install packages, FPP3, you'll get the stuff that goes along with this book. Okay? All right. Let's see here. I think that's all I wanted to show you on the browser. But I'll pull it back up if there's something else I want to show you. All right. How are we doing here? All right. Ravinder, hope I'm saying that correctly, from India. Hello, hello. Thank you, thank you. A lot of India in the house. As I always say, you know, the whatever success my channel has would not be what it is without all the amazing, dedicated, beautiful, wonderful learners in India. Namaste, of course. And I thank you so much for your time and patience on the channel and on LinkedIn as well. So I'm happy, I'm happy to help people from all over the world, but a special shout out to people, to all of you in India. Appreciate it so much. All right, here we go. Roman, thank you for the last recommendation of books. Absolutely. I have, you can't see it, it's off to my right here. I have a whole shelf of books related to statistics, data science, some programming books, college math, and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I'm sort of a book collector. So if you ever want a recommendation for a book, I can grab it off the shelf here and give you my 2 cents on it. If I have something related to it. I don't mind diving over there into the bookshelf and getting it. But yeah, always happy to do some recommendations. I read a lot. I think it's important to read. You know, we are a society now all over the world, especially where our attention spans are about, our attention spans are the length of, TikToks and YouTube shorts and stuff. But I think it's really important to still read slowly because the process of reading through something, a lot of work is going on in your mind to digest a different sort of process. So I have plenty of books that I read, and I'm more than happy to recommend any if you want any recommendations. Okay. All right. Clyde, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you from Waterloo, Ontario. Excellent. Hope it's okay up there. We have some crazy weather out in the west coast of the U.S. right now. Los Angeles is like under a blizzard warning. Bizarre. Climate is weird. All right. Are you going to create a video with recommendation of books? Well, that's kind of what I do here. So I kind of use the live stream to offer any recommendations of books because I have them right here. There's so many books that I could recommend. I'd have to narrow it down to a specific topic or whatever else people might want. And then not every book I have necessarily is right here. Some of them are upstairs. Some of them are in my backpack. But if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to do that. So, all right. Okay. So making sure I got everything here in the chat. Yeah, so I think I'm caught up. On the chat, comments, questions, go ahead and post those, please. Also, keep in mind that I try to keep this, half an hour minimum, between a half an hour and an hour. If it doesn't go that long, that's fine. If it goes half an hour, that's fine. I don't want to waste your time because I know you have important things to do today, just like me. So yeah, we'll keep it going as long as it's beneficial for everyone involved. So on the R stuff that I'm doing, the R shorts especially, what I'm trying to do there is just make some quick videos that obviously have to be under a minute, that address common questions. Like if I come up with a question or I hear someone else have a question, but I jot that down on my phone or whatever else, I'm like, well, can I make a short video in like under a minute? Like something came up actually in my daily job that we had a professor at a school who needed to, the professor did not know how to switch, to either have and or switch between multiple versions of R within RStudio because it's not all that intuitive, right? So, so I made some shorts on how to like download different R versions and install them. And then once you're in RStudio, how to switch between them and the preferences. So that's something that people sometimes need to do because a certain package might only work under a certain version of R, and they need to know how to get that R version and switch between maybe the most current one and then the previous one so the package works correctly. So something like that. I can do that in under a minute. The latest one I did, I think, was how to set up a project, how to like change the theme and font and stuff so your workspace is how you want it. And I have some more ideas on doing stuff like that. And it helps me. Of course, when you make content like I do, and a lot of the other content creators you have on YouTube or wherever else, the process of making that kind of content is also an educative experience for the creator. So doing that helps me get better at R and stuff like that as well. So I'm going to keep doing that in addition to the regular videos on time series. And I think I'll probably have a few stats videos here or there I want to pepper in. So in previous live streams, some of you have given me ideas about stats videos that may be kind of not part of the traditional introductory stats canon. Nonetheless, some people need to know about. So I've kind of made notes of those in my notebook. So I have my notebook I keep notes in. And I might pepper those in, every now and then as time allows. But of course, YouTube is not my full-time job in the least. So I do the best I can with whatever time I have. All right. So Clyde says, yeah, I saw the news about California blizzard. It's really nuts. It is a bizarre thing to see. To see it snowing in the Hollywood Hills like that. It's just really weird. Yeah, that'll create some interesting outliers in the weather data. Absolutely. So I think the outliers in weather data are going to become more the norm, So I've told people, just in passing or whatever else, where I live at least, in the Midwestern U.S., the biggest effect I've seen of a changing climate is wind. So here, where I am in the U.S., the wind has been nuts the past like 2 or 3 years. I mean, I'm talking just, blowing. My neighbor's fence blew over. The wind just blew the fence over, flat. I've had big tree branches come down. I had to have one tree cut down because the wind was tearing it apart. You'll see we had a windstorm on the same night as the garbage day. So everyone's garbage cans and the garbage just blew all over the neighborhood. That's how strong the wind was. So, yeah, I think these weather events all around the world are just going to become more normal, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's just weird. It is very, very bizarre. All right, I'm gonna get a drink of water. As I said, my mouth gets dry from talking and the medicine I'm on, so I apologize. And don't worry, not that it matters. The medicine's just for my back. I have some back problems every now and then. I'm getting up there, man. Getting near 50. Your body starts breaking down into like little pieces. At least mine does. All right. So what else do I want to talk about here? What are some things that you all would like to know or learn? It can be time series. It can be, other stats videos you might be interested in. It could be stuff related to some R tutorials. I try to make content that hasn't been done a bazillion times everywhere, because I think my method of teaching, concepts is pretty unique to me, but I want whatever I do to benefit the most people, So if there is something that you think that I can put on my notepad here and at some point get back to that you think would be beneficial, maybe you have conversations with your coworkers, conversations with your classmates, questions come up in class, or you ingest information from other places that you think might make good video content, let me know. I don't know when or if I'll get to it all necessarily, but I like to keep a running record of ideas. But I like those ideas to be organic, that they come from you, not necessarily from me, because I have plenty of ideas. I have enough content ideas on YouTube to last me probably until I'm dead. So, but I want to make content that's beneficial for you all now. All right. So please let me know. Appreciate it. Piper. What's up, Piper Trip? How you doing? It's good to see you again. Thank you for coming by. Excellent. Excellent. I learned how to play bagpipes. That would be pretty cool. Bagpipe, there's nothing quite like the sound of bagpipes. It's so unique, but yeah. All right. What else? All right. Doing well. Excellent. Excellent. I'm glad that you are doing well. Doing well. Yeah, so that's kind of where everything is right now on the channel. So plenty of stuff lined up. The next live stream, we're not ending right now, so don't take it that way. But of course, the live streams will continue in every 2 weeks. So I think today's the 25th. So the next 2 weeks will be March 11th. That will be the next one on Saturday, March 11th. So please tune in then, of course. Itch, and we'll go from there as we always do. So going back through the chat, making sure I got everybody's comments or questions in here. I think I'm caught up. So speaking of book recommendations, does anyone want me to pull one off the shelf on a certain topic that I might have? I'll be happy to do it. I got like 500 books over here. More than happy to recommend one or two if you have any desire to know. Okay, so yeah, if you have a book recommendation question, put it in the chat and I'll dive for it if I have something related. All right. So Clyde asked, not exactly a stats question, but I'm curious if you are a Reds fan, so the Cincinnati Reds are our Major League Baseball team here in Cincinnati. I'm a baseball stats nerd, and I'm excited to watch some spring training games today. Yeah, it's crazy that spring training is already starting, but I guess, football ends, and I'm a racing fan, so NASCAR starts and Formula One starts and stuff. So that's kind of one of my things. And then of course spring training starts. But so as a Cincinnatian, I cheer for the Reds, Clyde. I wouldn't call myself a Reds fan at this stage in my life, but growing up, of course, I played baseball my entire childhood. So from, I'm trying to think what the league was, from T-ball all the way up through high school, I played baseball. So I was a halfway decent baseball player in my younger days. So obviously during that time, we would go to Reds games all the time. We had Kid Glove games, and of course in 1990 they won the World Series. So I cheer for the Reds, but the Reds have kind of been a bastion of disappointment since the last playoff run. That was this bone-crushing loss to the Giants. And yeah, so I'm kind of neutral on, someone on the Reds, but as a hometown team, yes. And speaking of the stats, it is a stats question because sports statistics are huge. So it's a really interesting area, to get into and explore. So I think this is an important topic. Actually, this is a stats question, Clyde, because I think it's really beneficial and important because, stats and some of these other concepts can be somewhat dry, right? However, if you can find a path into it through something you already enjoy, so whether it is sports, whether it is, economic data. So if you're really into you're glued to Yahoo News all day or whatever else, you can learn the stats and the data science through a domain that you're already interested in and already know, and piggyback those together, So find something that you're already intrinsically interested in or keep track of or whatever else, and learn these stats through that, So like the project I'm working on here in my own house, like I said at the beginning. So I'm very interested in keeping track of and minimizing the amount of energy I use in my house. Not only, you save money by using less energy, but it's also good for the environment. It's just overall a good thing to try to keep track of what energy is used. So I've been keeping track of every daily kilowatt usage in my house for almost an entire year. And then I'm pairing that with something else I find interesting, which is weather data. So many of you probably don't know this, but my parents will vouch for this, is that growing up in the 80s, growing up, I would sit and watch the Weather Channel for hours. I would just sit there and watch the Weather Channel. And of course, it would repeat every so often, but I don't care. I'll watch it again. So I was really interested in meteorology, hurricanes, tornadoes, and stuff growing up. So I have this intrinsic interest in weather. So I'm pairing my desire to keep track of my energy usage in my home with my interest in weather, with my interest in statistics and data science. I'm putting it all together into a project that will become the source of content for the YouTube channel. So find your way into these, if it can be a bit dry at times, through something you find interesting. And that will get you farther and keep you more invested in learning these concepts. Okay? My 2 cents. So I think some people are coming with some book recommendations. So business stats, definitely got that. So of course, for those of you who don't know, my day job is actually working for a company called Cengage Group now, that in the past was a higher education publisher. So we made textbooks, stuff like that. Of course, things have changed. Most of it's digital now, but we still do make books and stuff. So the book I've always had is this one. So I work on this book. My day job is to work on this book. Okay? I'm on the product team that works on this book. The one thing you should know, though, is that I was using this book to tutor and teach with years before I ever knew Cengage existed. This was the book that I picked up, flipped through, and I was like, yes, this book explains everything so clearly. This is the book. And then it ended up by serendipity that I ended up working here for the company. So this is the market leading business stats book. It's been around for quite a long time. It dominates the market, and there's a reason for that. So this is the book, Stats for Business and Economics. If you want to have a reference book, you can find a used edition, previous edition would be just as good for a reference to keep on your shelf. I flip through this thing all the time. Someone will ask me a question. Of course, I know the main concepts, but for something more esoteric, I'll get this book, look it up, and I find my answer. So this is the book for business stats. Hands down, period, the end. This is the one you want. This is the 14th edition that I'm holding up right now. The 15th will be out relatively soon. You can find the 13th probably used. Put it on your shelf. This is the one you want. Absolutely. And while I'm on that, sort of the next book after that book you might want to consider is this one. So this is business analytics. So it takes the concepts and business stats and goes into other areas. So things like Monte Carlo simulation, linear optimization. What else is in here? There's a little bit more time series stuff in here. I'm trying to think what else. A decision analysis, I think, is in here. Descriptive data mining is in here. Same author team as the business stats book. So it has the same feel, the same coherent explanations, very, very clear. So these are the books I always recommend for business stats and business analytics. There are others. This is also the market leader by far. By far. Okay. So that is that. Those are the books. Now, of course, I'm vested in recommending those because my day job is to work on those books. But I'm seriously telling you that I was using the stats book years ago, like the 10th or 11th edition, years ago. And if you like the way I teach, you'll like the way they explain. Because we just line up. All right. Okay. Experimentation. Let's see here. It's finding it. So I'm trying to find the one I'm looking for a specific one. Just give me a second. Where's it at? Where is it at? I think it's upstairs. Okay, the one I'm looking for experimentation. Ha! It is down here. It was hidden. Okay. So, for experimentation, some things that I can recommend that you look into. So one is a small little book I picked up, is the DOE Handbook. So this is a simple approach to basic statistical design of experiments. So this is a design of experiments. It's very small. Okay. You can go on Amazon. It's a few dollars. It's not very expensive. But it's all about setting up experimental designs. So this is a good primer on how to set up different experimental designs. This is one book I can recommend for design of experiments. Okay. Another thing I can recommend is look for books in a specific domain. So if you think of certain fields that do a lot of research and experimental research, look for books in that specific domain that deal with experimentation. So I have the new one of this, but this is the old one. So this is the Cohen book I always keep handy. Explaining psychological statistics. So obviously in psychology, they do a lot of experiments. So that's part of the field of psychology is experimentation. And therefore it is built into books about that. So I'm sure there are some in biology, of course, some of the other hard sciences. So you can find a lot of and these experimental concepts can apply to other fields. But you'll find a lot of stuff dealing with experiments in a discipline-specific book like this. And then I don't think you can get this book anymore, but I'll show it to you so you can find something similar. But this is a book I have from my undergrad days, and I love how it sets everything up. This is the Handbook in Research and Evaluation. So this edition's pretty old. I'm not sure if there's a new one. But you probably can't see this. Yeah, you can see that. So you see how it sets up experimental groups and control groups here, right here? So a book like this shows you different experimental designs and how you might set them up. So this is just the Handbook in Research and Evaluation. So you might be able to find a used one. Again, this is pretty old, but I keep it because it's so good. So you can find stuff like that. All right. Now I have books spread everywhere. All right. So, Arif asked, do you teach topics from econometrics? I will, as I get more into the time series stuff, obviously, because, you can kind of split time series analysis and forecasting into two sort of camps. You have pure time series, which you basically only have two variables, time and the value at that given time, and that's it. So that's what I've been working with up to now. Then the other side, you have econometric models where you have other explanatory variables like you would in like a multiple regression. You can kind of put those in the two camps. So eventually I will get to that, just a matter of time. Speaking of econometrics though, since we're on that topic, where is it? Not sure if I had this one down here, but yeah, I don't think I have it down here. I think it's upstairs, but there's a book. The author is Wooldridge. Wooldridge. You can find it's a good econometrics book, Arif, and look at that. It's been around for a while. It's a well-known book. See if I can find it. There it is. Yep, there it is. Let me share my screen here. So this is the book I'm referring to about econometrics. Right here. I can maybe paste that. Yeah. Let me grab that for you. So this is another book that my company puts out about econometrics. You know, in the textbook world, if your book isn't good, you don't get 234 5-star ratings, right? So this is a previous edition, I think. I think this is maybe a newer one. But anyway, you can find this textbook, put it on your shelf if you're interested in econometrics, and just have it as a reference, okay? I'm not sure which edition we're on right now. This might be an older one, but that's the author, Wooldridge. All right, let's see here. Go back up. Now we're rocking. Okay. So Sanjay says, your videos are very helpful. Thank you. Appreciate that. It'd be great if you could upload videos on topics related to operations research. So on that note, Sanjana, the authors of this book, okay, so Cam, Cochran, Fry, and Ullman. So Jeff Cam is at Wake Forest University. Jim Cochran is at the University of Alabama. Mike Fry is at University of Cincinnati down the road from me, and Jeff Ullman is at the University of Iowa. They come from an OR background. So this business analytics book has an operations research feel to it, okay? So like I said, things about linear optimization, integer linear optimization, and stuff like that is in here. I think what else makes this a little bit different? Yeah, so you have Monte Carlo, linear optimization, integer linear optimization, and nonlinear optimization models. Okay, that's not all of OR, of course, but that is, you know, a good chunk of OR. All right. So that book is, it kind of mixes business analytics with an OR sort of feel to it. And then they also have just a management science book that is, you know, more traditional management science. It has more of those kind of concepts in it. So there are plenty of resources, you know, and I do plan to, at some point, I don't know when, but I want to create some YouTube content based on the finite mathematics class that I tutored at Indiana University. So I've held up the binder before, but I have this whole big binder of all the work I did tutoring finite math. And, you know, a big part of that are things like linear optimization and stuff like that. So I hope to make some content related to that. All right. All right, I think I'm getting behind on the chat here, so I'm going to try to speed this up. Clyde says, yes, sports stats. Thought of doing the sabermetrics course at BU Online. I think it's through edX. Have you looked at it? I have not looked at it, but I would imagine that's probably pretty good. You know, I imagine that's probably, that's, there we go. This one right here. I think this is the one right here. So is this it? So Sabermetrics 101, Intro into Baseball Analytics, right here. Cool. That looks pretty cool, man. Yeah. Excellent. I'll put this link in the chat for anyone who might be interested. And like we were talking about before, it really is beneficial to, if you're learning, you know, statistics, analytics, data science, whatever else, or even a tool like R, Python, whatever else, Power BI, Tableau, whatever. If you can pair learning that up with a topic you're interested in, you're much more likely to stick with it and keep going because you're learning on multiple levels that are interacting with each other. So find something you're naturally interested in and apply that topic, that domain, to learning the stats and analytics and stuff. All right, so there it is. Excellent. Okay. Louis asked, do you have a book that you would recommend about critical thinking skills? I do. Let's see, pull one off there. I have a lot of books on critical thinking, but I think they're kind of over there. One thing I can recommend that kind of marries what I teach with the thinking skills. Some of you have probably heard of Carol Eremenko. So this book, Confident Data Skills, kind of mixes both. You know, the critical thinking side of, you know, being a data analyst and working with data and stuff like that with, you know, the actual tools and techniques. Okay. So like here, so this is a classification with naive Bayes, but I'll also talk about why. Like, why is that algorithm appropriate in this situation or not that situation? How will you interpret it once you run that algorithm and so on and so forth? So, you know, a lot of investigation type stuff in data science is about asking the right questions and really being specific about the questions you ask. There's actually someone who's a friend of the channel that will email me every now and then about a project that they are working on, and he'll hire me basically, you know, for like an hour to just give him some thoughts on the project they're working on. And one of the things I said in our last correspondence was to really be specific about the questions you're asking. You have to really hone in on the questions you're asking. Like one of the research questions they were posing was, does this have an impact on this? Well, what does that mean? What do you mean has an impact? You know, that's colloquial. That's a good question to ask in conversation. But when we're doing like an investigation, a critical thinking type thing, what does impact mean? You have to define it, what it means. So, you know, this Confident Data Skills book and a lot of other similar books kind of get your mind thinking about how to investigate, how to pose questions, how to formulate questions, and the limitations of the answers you might get, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. So there's all kinds of books on my shelf, but they tend to be smaller, so I can't see them. I can't see them from where I'm at. So, all right. Let's see here. I remember with Donald Wheeler, author of numerous books. I do wish that he would, the big one, because the used copies now cost $150 or more on Albris. Yeah, so let me see here. I want to see something here. So I know the name. Yeah. So pull this up. So is this kind of what you're referring to there, Houston? I'll make this bigger for everybody. Right here. By the way, one of my favorite websites is allbookstores.com because it congregates many bookstores and sellers into one place, and then you can find the best deal that you're looking for. So if I were to go to here, compare prices, what I'll do is I'll go out and search all these different bookstores that are offering this book and then put them on a list for you right here. Pretty cool, huh? So if you're ever looking for a used book, allbookstores.com is where I go. And then I just get, some books I want to have, some books I just kind of want to have. I don't really care if it's in the perfect condition necessarily, but some I want to get, a good copy of, and here it'll tell you everything, used, new, how long it'll take, stuff like that. So this is allbookstores.com. I'm not sure where they ship to and stuff, but this is a good place to find stuff. This is where I go, at least. All right. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. All those topics are super interesting. Absolutely. Hello, Raghav. Thanks for coming back to the stream. Appreciate you being here. Really appreciate it. Oh, thank you so much. Bhavana, thank you so much for your donation to the channel. I really appreciate it. Every bit helps. I'm so thankful. So thank you for the amazing content. Helped me a lot in cracking my lead data analytics role in big tech. Starting next week. Yeah, congratulations. That's amazing. Amazing. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. All right. But thank you. I'm glad it helped. Let's see here. So any content related to dealing with non-normal data? I think the best examples of that I have at this moment, Luis, is my playlist on non-parametric methods. So when the data does not fit, a parametric ideal, like being normally distributed or whatever, there are other techniques that can be used that are non-parametric, which there are so many: sign test, Wilcoxon, Friedman test. There are many. So let me pull this up. Whoops. Pull this up real fast for you. Yeah, so you go down here. You can go to my channel directly, but here, to this non-parametric methods playlist that I have, there are 9 videos, about 25 minutes each. Total is like almost 4 hours total to watch the whole thing. It covers numerous non-parametric methods where you can use those instead of parametric methods if the data does not fit, a normal distribution. Okay, so that is one thing you can look at, and there are other ways. I do have some videos also below that on variable transformations. So of course it's very common for certain variables, depending on how they're shaped, to use logarithm on them. So log 10, and in R, it's very common to use scale x continuous in a ggplot to make the variable fit within a normal distribution. So variable transformations as well. So those are 2 places you can look. Okay. All right. Okay, got this. Be great if you upload some videos on operations research, especially linear programming. Absolutely. I definitely want to do some linear programming videos. I find linear programming actually very interesting. There's so many weird problems you can solve with linear programming. Like, it's so flexible. Like the one problem I saw was a map of like a floor plan of a business or whatever, a house or a business, like a floor plan. And in the problem, The problem was to optimize where to put the security cameras so every room could be seen. So you could actually, through linear programming, you could figure out the optimal place to put the security cameras in the floor plan so that every entrance and exit was visible. It's like, what? So you can do a lot of really cool things with linear programming, and I do hope at some point to get back into that because I have so much content over here from when I tutored that finite math course that I would have enough content to last years. So I don't know when that will be, unfortunately, but yes, I do hope to do that. All right. Hello, Yajendra. Good to see you. Good to see you. You're very welcome. Let's see here. Right. Thank you for your answer. You are very welcome, Arif. You're very, very welcome. So yeah. So that is it. That was the book you're looking for right there, I think. Houston was here. Yeah. So here it is. If this is the book you're looking for, all bookstores, Making Sense of Data. Of course, now you're going to make me buy this book probably. So I probably should have it, right? I'll just leave it up. I'll leave it in my browser. So yeah, you can find, you can compare. And of course, they'll tell you where it ships from and so forth. So that's the book. If that's the book you're looking for, there's the place you can get it. Just don't buy the copy I'm going to buy. Just kidding, of course. All right. Yes. So congrats, Bhavana. Absolutely. Congratulations. That is so brilliant news. And if you didn't know, so Bhavana went for a lead data analytics role in big tech, and I don't know. I won't use any pronouns that I don't know. They start next week. So congratulations. Awesome. That's incredible. Yes. Brilliant news. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Piper asks, what was the impetus for all the RStudio shorts? Very good question. Let me get a drink before I answer that. So the impetus is that as I'm getting into more of the time series stuff, I wanted to learn more about R along with it. And so what I was doing is looking for an opportunity while I was working and learning stuff in R. I was thinking, can I make some short form content related to my own experience, doing it? So I found out a way on my computer to kind of set it up so it works, pretty well. So I'm thinking, if I'm kind of learning these tips and tricks for R and RStudio, why not just record it? Right? So, it looks a little weird because I have to, change RStudio to fit the short form, but I found out a way to do that. And I'm like, if I'm in here already, why not just make a quick video? It only takes a few minutes to do. So I'm trying to just take my own learning of the tool and the process and create content for other people, especially as it relates to things that I think are really universally usable, beneficial. So of course, coming up when I get into analyzing the data I'm collecting about my own energy usage and stuff, that's going to be a whole project that we'll walk through. So obviously learning elements of the tidyverse, especially dplyr, is so helpful. It makes working with data so much easier. And there are ways to explain it and teach it, and you can teach it and explain it in a way that matches how people already think about how they use other programs like Excel, right? So if I'm filtering on a variable in R in dplyr, that's just like putting a filter row at the top of a table in Excel and selecting the checkbox you want, right? It's the same thing. So there are ways to actually kind of mesh what people already know and have done with a new tool. So I just decided to create some content around it. Why not? I'm already there, so I might as well just record my screen. All right. And like I said before, by doing that content, it helps reinforce the ideas in my own mind. That's the beauty of doing this stuff, is that I'm kind of learning a process to create content for you all. So I make content on the process, and in the end, that helps reinforce the content in my own brain. It's very like Inception, right? But it works. So it's multi-level of the reason I'm decided to do it that way. All right. Venkata. Hello, Brandon. You are amazing. Maybe, I don't know, but thank you. Finished my last stats course with A grade. Ooh, this is what a day for accomplishments in the live stream today. Hell yeah. Most credit goes to your videos. Thanks a lot. Oh, no, I appreciate that, Venkata, but all the credit goes to you, my friend. You can put content on the internet, on YouTube or whatever else for people to watch. But if they choose not to sit down and put in the time and do the work to learn it, it doesn't make any bit of difference. So while the content is there, you put in the work, you put in the time, made the sacrifice, and hammered it out, and you are the person responsible for that A grade. And you should give yourself a pat on the back, treat yourself to something nice or whatever, and celebrate. But you did the work. So I'm so grateful and so grateful that you're doing well, and thank you for the compliment. But you did the work. Yeah, Tidyverse is really, really excellent. It really is. When I do some of the other R stuff I'm going to do, I'm not really going to bother going into the base R stuff for like plots and stuff, because it doesn't. And one, they're not very appealing, and two, the Tidyverse and ggplot2 are so good. Just jump right in and learn that. That's what you're going to be doing anyway. So yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool, and I look forward to integrating it more into my channel in terms of just our tips and tricks for the shorts, and obviously in projects that I'll be working on in there. So I've never been really excited as much as I am right now about finishing that data set I'm making, which will be, next 3 more days? So that data set will finally be complete, at least as I want it for now, at the end of February, and then I can start making content based off of it, which will be in R. A lot of it will be in R. So yeah, I'm really excited for some reason about about that. I think the more I learn in sort of, I've always fiddled around in R Studio, but my day job and everything I pretty much do is in Excel. But now that I've been really sitting down to like put in the time, to learn it and then get it in practice, make mistakes, when the console's flashing red all the time, that is just a learning experience. So I'm really, really, really gung-ho right now about learning it. So and then bringing content based off it to you. So yeah, I love dplyr, ggplot, all the rest. Absolutely. Absolutely. Some of the other ones, forcats can be very, very beneficial working with factors, of course. So I'm trying to get more into that. And of course, related, when you're doing with time series, lubridate is important to understand. So I'm trying to get some more knowledge on lubridate, because it's really powerful. It really, really helps with date times, of course. Right. Yeah, do all my stats problems in R LaTeX? Absolutely. Learn 2 things at once. Exactly. Exactly. If there's a way to incorporate learning multiple things at once, then brilliant. Absolutely. Been coding for 30 years. I have to say I'm really impressed by R, which I'm fairly new to. Yeah, it really is an amazing piece of software that it just keeps getting better and better. The one challenge with R, of course, is just the multitude of packages that you have to like learn and install. I wish more of that were kind of base, part of the R base, but I understand the philosophy behind it. But it's, you're doing a tutorial, watching something, and it's like, oh, well, you need this from this package, and this from this package, and this from this package, and it's like, couldn't there just be one package kind of like that does most things? And luckily, the Tidyverse is largely that. Yeah, forecat, stringer, lubricate. Yeah, stringer, I hope to get more into text analysis, as I really find that interesting as I learn more. So I'd imagine that somewhere in the future as well. Absolutely. It's tough because you kind of have to some people are in Python, Jupyter Notebooks, stuff like that. Of course, the ecosystems have kind of overlapped now. You can kind of do one and the other. But I've kind of chosen the R path for now because in my day job, where we work with professors and students at universities and stuff like that, it's almost entirely R. So learning that for content on YouTube also helps me in my day job when we work with professors and students that they are completely new to R. There are students who see a command prompt and just have a panic attack. It's like, where's the button? Where are the things I click? So working with those professors and students, and then of course the YouTube stuff kind of helps all together. So the R stuff I am learning is also helping me in my day job in addition to the YouTube type stuff. All right, so we're gonna end this here in a few minutes. If you have any last comments, questions, or whatever else, now is the time to put them in the chat because we will wrap up after the next couple of questions, and I'm gonna go up to the coffee shop and do some work for you all. Kevin Venkata says, but in the new semester, new stats course, I am struggling in understanding the analysis of variance ANOVA skeleton for mixed models and figuring out the sources of variances and degrees of freedom and so forth. Yes, that can get very confusing. I'm not sure if you have perused the playlists I have on some of this stuff. All right, so obviously I have a ginormous playlist on just ANOVA starting out at the very beginning. So analysis of variance, you have 3 samples, start there. Then we get into blocking and stuff like that, where we talk about how the total sum of squares is partitioned. Okay, and the treatments, block, stuff like that. So if you haven't looked at this playlist, go watch that. Also here, I have ANCOVA, analysis of covariance. So this is a good place to build upon the ANOVA, obviously, because you're adding a covariate, but the basic underlying idea is the same, which is how we partition total sum of squares. So this is a good playlist as well. And then I can also recommend the playlist on the general linear model, of course, which ANOVA is part of. It's a big umbrella. The GLM is a big thing. So you might find some videos in there where I talk about things like partial correlations and stuff like that, I believe. I believe that's the one. I could be confusing 2 things. But, so those 3 playlists, if you haven't seen those already, so regular ANOVA, analysis of variance, ANCOVA, and the GLM playlists are, I'd recommend, if you have the time, watch them all, but you can pick around within the playlist on the topics that you think might benefit what you are learning, okay? So I'll put that link in here. If you want to I put the link to the playlist page in the chat. Just put that in your browser favorites. That way you can just go and find it. It'll always be there. All right. So excellent. Yep. Watch them. Absolutely. And Venkata, by the way, a lot of those videos do have accompanying data sets that you can find on the downloads page here. So here you can see here's the one for ANCOVA. You have the GLM. Then I have some of the other ANOVA ones in here. Yeah, here we go. 2-way ANOVA, 1-way ANOVA. So the data sets are also in here, okay? Under the downloads, if you want to download the file and follow along. Okay. Jerry. Hello, Jerry. Hope you're doing well. Hello back to you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, let me make sure the chat is good. Yep. Yep. You are very welcome. While I'm at it here, as we get near the end, wrong one. Ha. So that was good, but this is it. As always, like we had before, Bhavana offered a super chat or a super little button on here. Super chats and PayPal tips, welcome. It helps the channel a great deal. That's, I do all this stuff for essentially for free. Right? No money. No one's making money on YouTube right now because of the economy. So this is all pretty much just doing it for free. So if you have a super chat or a PayPal tip is appreciated. If you buy the PDFs off my website, that helps, of course. Every little bit helps. A cup of coffee is $2.50, and that will keep me going for a couple hours. I do appreciate any help that you can give. I know we all like to get free stuff and we hate spending money on stuff, but every little bit helps for creators like me. Even if it's not me, if you have another creator that you like, if they have a Patreon or they have a donation, throw them a few bucks if you can. All right, if you can. All right. Oh yeah, famous. I wish to know the meaning of degrees of freedom in real life. That is a very, very meta question, and it doesn't have one. There are actually multiple meanings of degrees of freedom. And I think what I'm just going to do is make a video on it. All right. But it depends on the context, Jerry. But in general, what it often means is the number of parameters that we're estimating or that we're dependent upon. So that's one way of sort of thinking about it. Another way of thinking about it is if we calculate certain things, there comes a point where we are locked into a certain value. So I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head that would be good. Like if this might not be completely correct. I'm doing this off the top of my head, which is not always the best thing to do. So let's say I have 10 numbers, and the mean or the average of those 10 numbers is 79. Okay? Now, if I can make the first 9 numbers kind of really anything, but once I have the first 9 of those 10, the 10th one is locked in. It has to be something specific, right? So we lose a degree of freedom. And that's maybe not exactly the correct way of thinking about it, but I think there's something along those lines. It's another way of explaining degrees of freedom. So I might just make a video about degrees of freedom because this comes up all the time. But here's the other thing. Honestly, Jerry, in most cases, you don't even need to worry about it. It confuses students a lot when they see, degrees of freedom equals this, or now we're dividing by n minus 1 instead of n. Why? Well, so the estimator is not biased. In most cases, you don't even need to know why. It's just a statistical thing that's part of it, and kind of go with the flow. But because so many people ask, I might make a video on the different ways of explaining degrees of freedom. There are already some good YouTube videos that I've seen come across my feed about degrees of freedom. You might want to check out those, but this is a common question that comes up all the time in stats classes. Okay, so my purest response would be, yes, degrees of freedom is a weird thing, but in practice, it doesn't really mean too much unless you're like a PhD mathematics stats student. So that's my cop out. So, but yeah, it's a very common question. All right. Well, I think that is pretty much everything in the chat. So, well, everybody, it has been a great hour and 15 minutes, with you here on the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here so you all can get on with your day or night, and I can get on with my day. I'm going to go up and do a few hours of work at the coffee shop, get some content out, get some learning done. So we'll be back again in 2 weeks. That's Saturday, March 11th, same time, same place. Please come back with any questions or comments that you've thought about since then. You can contact me on LinkedIn is the best place, or through my website. There's a live stream question form you can submit there, and that'll help inform the conversation next time. I might have some, I think since so many people asked, I will maybe have some books lined up that I can kind of show you based on topics I think you might be interested in, and just kind of get a conversation going that way with books. So, all right. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this stream. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time, and you are all amazing, fantastic people, beautiful people. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. So take care of yourself and each other and all the ones you love. Take care. Bye-bye.